Hello everyone and welcome to Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. So if you're new to the channel and looking for reviews of bourbons, ryes, or some of those Dusties, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. If you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you very much for your support. Alright, so today we're going to be reviewing the Michter Small Batch Sour Mash Whiskey. The Sour Mash comes in at 43% ABV or 86 proof. Typically, you can find this in your market anywhere between $40 to $50, although it is stated it is a limited release. Surprisingly enough, in the 70s and 80s, this was the company's most popular product, only to disappear in 1989 and make its reappearance in 2012 to be added to the Michter's US 1 lineup. While Michter's does disclose all of their mash bills, it is hard to guess as to what this consists of. But according to the Whiskey Advocate, a Michter's expert stated that the original sour mash consisted of 50% corn, 38% rye, and 12% malted barley, and was aged in new and used white American oak barrels. So this could not be classified as a bourbon because it falls under the 51% corn and because it was aged in new and used white American oak barrels. All right, guys, let's get into it. Nice pour here. All right, we'll take a look at the color here first. It's a nice dark honey color, light copper. It's not coating the glass that well. Seems kind of thin. All right, let's go into the nose. So first, I'm picking up a little bit of honey, cinnamon, get your typical vanilla, your caramel. I think the cinnamon is pretty bold on this one. The honey's just kind of there. Almost like a lemon candy I'm picking up. Definitely some fruitiness as you're a little further away from the glass. Closer in, you're picking up some of those spices, the cinnamon, maybe a little bit of nutmeg. Further away, you're getting the honey and the fruits. All right, guys, let's go in for a taste. Cheers. Okay, so first thing I'm picking up, I'm getting a lot of sweetness, some fruity sweetness, some dried fruits, maybe some dried oranges, some pears. Then it seems to develop into this spiciness on the mid palate. Maybe a little bit of almond in there. On the finish, it's a very smooth finish. Again, being 86 proof, you're not going to be blown away by any kind of heat. The finish doesn't linger on. It's pretty quick. It's not very viscous, doesn't stick to the palate very well. But it does have, again, some nice layers to it as they really start to develop. Again, the front of the palate was very sweet, a lot of sweetness. Mid palate, you start to pick up some of the spices from the rye. Again, you get some of those dried fruits, the dried oranges, some pears, maybe some tropical fruits in there a little. Picking up maybe a little bit of oak on that first sip. Let's go in for a second one here, guys. Cheers. Yeah, it kind of almost reminds me of a little bit of a creme brulee, more toward the mid to the back of the palate. The vanilla and caramel seem to go from front to back. it's the beginning where you're still getting that sweetness. Not getting any sweetness too much, the fruity sweetness in the middle of the palate. Middle of the palate tends to be where the spiciness is coming through. And then the finish is a very smooth finish. But what's nice about it is you're getting a combo of both. I think this is one that can't really decide on what it wants to be. You get the spiciness from the rye, but then you get the sweetness from the bourbon. So it's going back and forth. But again, it's not lingering. It goes away fairly quick. Doesn't really cover the palate very well. Let's go for one last sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, okay, so the dried fruits are definitely on the front of the palate. Oranges, maybe lemons, pears. Develops to this spicy character that covers the mid palate where it wants to be that rye, and then finishes with both. It finishes with a nice sweet and spicy kick. Maybe a little bit of oak. Could be where some of that spice is coming from, as well as some of those rye spices in there. Again, just it goes by very quick. Doesn't linger. I wish it did. This is actually one of my favorite expressions from Michter's personally. This is my third bottle that I've gone through. So, hats off to them there. I think they're doing a great job with all their blends and just all of their expressions are just really top notch in my opinion. Again, this one I just wish it had a little more bite to it. I wish it coated the palate a little bit more than it did. And I wish the finish would just linger on just a little bit more. But other than that, hats off to you guys, Michter's, for putting out some great products. I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. So if you're new to the channel and looking for reviews of bourbons, ryes, and some of those dusties, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You can also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.